Hey guys, welcome back to JL History. Today we're going to be talking about one of the longest wars in history that happens to have zero casualties. Our story starts in England in 1642. In 1642, the government of England was a bit unstable. See, you had this king named Charles I. Here's the thing. He was a pretty selfish guy. All he cared about was having a lot of power. He hated how Parliament was gaining more and more power in England, so he decided to mess with it. He dissolved Parliament many times, did whatever he wanted with the money England had, and caused the country to go broke. He wasn't a great ruler, and he might have gotten away with it if it wasn't for one mistake. He decided to provoke Scotland. He invaded Scotland with 20,000 men and had initial victory, but he ended up being defeated by the Scots. Lock up the house. Anyway, there ended up being two sides in this war: the Royalists, those who supported Charles, and the Parliamentarians, those who supported the Parliament and the Scottish. After a few years of fighting, everything managed to go back to normal. But what does that have to do with the 335-year-long war with zero casualties? I'll tell you. In 1648, during the English Civil War, things were going very well for the Parliamentarians. They had pushed the Royalists to Cornwall, and eventually the Royalist Navy was forced to leave. Now this is where things get very interesting. The Royalist Navy decided to go to the Isles of Scilly, an archipelago off the coast of England. Meanwhile, the Dutch wanted to be friends with England after they received help from them in a war of their own. But how do you ally yourself with a country that's in the middle of a civil war? All you have to do is support the side that you think is going to win. The Dutch decided to ally themselves with the Parliamentarians. There is just one problem. The Dutch liked trading with the Isles of Scilly, but the Royalist Navy was already there. At first, they tried to let this not bother them. But after a while, their losses were adding up. They had no choice but to go to war. Hey, guess what? We're going to war. Oh, that's cool, but with who? You can't just declare war on England because you do support England. You just don't like the Royalists. Well, I'm one step ahead of you. In April of 1651, the Dutch officially declared war on the tiny Isles of Scilly, which was technically part of England. Is it even possible to declare war on part of a country? According to the Dutch, it very much is. Luckily for the Isles of Scilly, the English Civil War ended a few months later, and everyone forgot about the affair. The only problem is that Scilly and the Netherlands never signed a peace treaty, so for 335 years, they waged a terrible, long, grueling war that had zero casualties. Finally, in 1986, Roy Duncan, who is chairman of the Isles of Scilly Council, realized that his island had been fighting the Dutch since the 1600s, and he invited a Dutch ambassador to the islands to officially end the war on April 17, 1986, exactly 335 years after the war began. This was the story of the war with zero casualties. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell to be alerted for future videos, and make sure to leave a comment below telling me about historical events you want me to cover. Thanks for watching and have a great day.